My 18 male dad's 36 high school girlfriend, Melanie, 36, had me when they were 18. My dad asked if they could get a termination as he dreamt of going to college. Melanie was Baptist, so she said no. Dad said okay as it was her decision. He decided to drop out of college and start a family. When I was 6 months old, Melanie said this wasn't the life she wanted, had a breakdown, dumped me on Dad, and moved. My dad's parents and my dad looked after me while my dad attended a smaller college in state. Soon he met Anita, an Indian exchange student, and by the time I was 2, they were married. By the way, Dad and Melanie are white, so obviously I am too. We moved to our current state when they graduated, and Dan and Anita did PhDs. They're both profs in my state's Ivy College, and I have a brother, Peter, pre-tween. I put stepmom in quotes because ever since I could talk I called Anita Mom, and she was always my mom. She loves me, never shows any difference in affection towards me and Peter, and is my best friend. Last year, Melanie got in touch as she moved to my state. She had a husband and 2 kids, Peter's age. She kept inviting me around, asking me to do stuff with her and my siblings, and sometimes I'd say yes, but I didn't care about her as she never cared till I was 17. Sorry if it sounds rude. She asked if I could call her Mom. Also, I declined. She seemed okay, if a little angry. I did well in school and got a state award and an entire college ride for the next year. The ceremony was last week. I got 3 free tickets. Anyone else who wanted to come had to pay $25 each. I gave the tickets to Dad, Anita and Peter. Melanie was offended and asked why I couldn't give her one and have my parents pay for Peter. I said no, so she paid for her, her kids and her husband to come. In my speech, I thanked my parents for helping me with schoolwork and joked that I picked a college far away as they taught in hours. Afterward, an official asked which were my parents to congratulate them, assuming it was Dad and Melanie. Fair, since I'm white. I said no, that Dad and Anita were my parents, so he congratulated them. Melanie started crying after the event, telling me how insulting it was for me to say Anita was my parent and how it looked awful to keep saying that. An Indian lady was my mom, even though everyone knows that's not true. Dad whisked us off, but Melanie has been posting on Facebook about brainwashed children of divorce and elitists looking down on people who didn't go to college. Was I horrible? I know it seems rude to say Anita is my parent and ignore Melanie. Still, in that context, and all contexts, I wanted Anita to get the credit because she was the college prof, and she helped me with school even more than Dad as she did the humanities, where I struggled. Also, Melanie and my dad were never married. Is this normal? Must I call her Mom too just because we're the same race, so people don't look at us weirdly? Have I embarrassed her in public? Edit. The main reason I don't like Melanie is because the first few times we agreed to do stuff with her, she let her kids call Peter Apu from The Simpsons, and didn't scold them for it, which I noticed because I was the one watching the kids. She called it childhood teasing and said that they learned it from school. Not the idiot. Anita is your mother. Good on you for having her back on this. You sound like a fantastic son. Melanie wants to show off her son, who she'd ignored all his life, now that he's getting all the gold medals, because why on earth else would she have brought her entire family to your award ceremony, even though you'd only met them a year ago? Girl didn't get the Facebook kudos, so now she's gunning for the sympathy likes. It's very rich of this woman to call you a brainwashed child of divorce when she's happily letting OP's pre-tween brother get abused because, checks notes, the boy's mother married her old high school fling. She's a deadbeat parent. Plus, she's not divorced, so she's also a liar. They were never married. I wouldn't be remotely surprised if she never paid a dime of child support. Yeah, that's awful. Your egg donor allowed her offspring to say names to your brother. Best of luck to you, young man. I know your parents are proud. Melanie abandoned you for 17 years. Let her scream into the void online, or drop a reaction under her posts. You abandoned me when I was 6 months old, moved states and didn't look back. You never bothered to contact me or cared about me until I was 17. You are not my mother and do not deserve that title. You can decide whether or not she gets the privilege of being in your life. I live at home and pay rent. I graduated from university, have a good job, and don't mind contributing to my household. It's a nicer neighbourhood than I could afford to live in otherwise, and it's close to a bus route that takes me right to work. I keep all my belongings in my room, including my computer, television, and gaming consoles. My parents often host family and friends with bored children because my parents have nothing for kids since all my older siblings and I got older. I thought I was being nice when I bought an old Switch, hooked it up in the family room and added it to my account. That way kids can play Mario or Zelda and my stuff gets left alone. Recently my aunt came over with my young cousins. They played for a while but got bored and wanted to see my other games. I said my room was off limits and my mom and aunt immediately tried to get me to let them in. I said, no problem, but make sure you don't eat any of my candy or gummies they see in my room because they're all spiced up edibles. Nope, my aunt almost put her kids behind her like she was protecting them from the devil. My mom said that I could clean up my room and put them somewhere safe. I reminded her that we agreed that if I paid rent, I would have privacy in my room. My dad agreed with me and he got a locking door handle from the garage and installed it while my mom fumed. He has everything in that garage. My mom said I was rude by not sharing my stuff with guests. I asked my aunt if I could borrow her car to go out with friends, and she immediately said no. I said it was rude not to share, and she called me a smart aleck. I went to my room, put on my noise-cancelling headphones, played Diablo, and had a couple of gummies from my stash in the back of my closet where I keep them. Not the idiot. Your aunt is entitled and your mother supports her in her decisions. Children have no business in an adult's bedroom, adults edibles or not. It's not a place for them and they don't have to go exploring and rummaging through your things. They could break something or hurt themselves, and you'd be held responsible. It's a good thing your father has a bit of common sense. What happens if one of the kids eats a candy? You'd all be in trouble. I broke out laughing at your response to your aunt. I also applaud your dad for supporting you and acting to help you. You don't have to tidy up your room and make it safe for children. Their mother has to teach them to keep their butts on the couch or in the main room and only go to the bathroom when invited to someone's house. She would be the first to complain if anything happened to them. And how about they play dress up or something in your mom's room? The level of dad energy in just immediately doing this is hilarious to me, and his kid saying, he's got everything in that garage, is such a great compliment. Meanwhile, Dad is stoked that he didn't throw out that old door handle because he knew he might need it one day. There's the real winner of the story. Dads live off that crap. He's going to coast on that "I was right to save that doorknob" vibe for years. I, nearly adult, was doing a major cleanup of my room yesterday and I called my mom to ask where the cleaning supplies were and told her what I was doing. I threw out a bunch of old junk, including old folders from my old schoolwork. After 5 hours of decluttering my old crap, I was satisfied with how my room turned out. The garbage truck picked up all the garbage I threw away the following day, and my mom came to my room and asked where my orange folder was. I told her that I threw it away. She went outside to see if the garbage was still there, but it was not. She said, "You stupid idiot, why didn't you tell me?" I was shocked and asked what happened. She told me that she had over $2,000 in there in cash. First, we looked everywhere in the house, hoping that the orange folder hadn't been thrown, but we couldn't find it. Now she's accusing me of stealing the money and using the cleanup as an excuse, which is definitely not true. She's making me pay that money back now, as she already went to the ATM with my bank card and withdrew the $1,200 I had in there. She told me that she's going to garnish my wages from work. I make like $300 a month there, and is denying me dinner for 3 months. Am I the idiot for throwing away my own garbage and not informing my mother? She hid the money in my folder and is now accusing me of theft. How the heck would I have known? I have dozens of folders, and I didn't check a single one because I only had my grade school crap in there. Not the idiot. What in the world? This is nonsense logic. I get hiding cash. When my grandparents died, my mom and I sat in their living room for hours, flipping through all of their hundreds of books and found thousands in cash along the way. So I know hiding cash in household objects is a thing, but why would you leave that thing in the care of a teenager, unbeknownst to them? Most teenagers would just pocket it if they found it. In an unheard moment of a teenager cleaning their own room, they could throw it out, just as you did. If they took that folder to school, depending on the school they go to, they could easily be mugged for it. I know I went to a school this could have happened in. Your mom is being extremely unreasonable. This is wild. The $2,000 never existed, you dork. She's just taking your money with an invented story. So yeah, not the idiot, and don't give her another dang dime. She can't touch your money, and it's insane you already gave her $1,200. I 100% agree. Why, when OP told Mom they were cleaning, did Mom not tell them to put the orange folder in their room, or not to throw any garbage out till they could go through it? Why did Mom wait till the next day to say anything? The first question is, Why hide that much money in a child's room? Honestly, I feel so bad for OP. Their mom is the kind of person who would lie about this and force them to pay the money because they can. She is an absolute colossal moron. Yesterday, we had a family dinner at our parents' house, where my, 31, younger brother Ted, 29, informed us that he and his girlfriend Mika of 4 years broke up. This was a shock to everyone because they seemed very happy together, so everyone grilled him about why, and he explained. So basically, they broke up because Ted quit his job 6 months ago and wouldn't take more responsibility for household chores. His reason for not contributing more than 50% in chores is that he's still able to contribute his share towards the overall expenses via his investment returns. Mika wanted him to take on more chores as she was working full-time and he was at home all day doing whatever he wanted but playing video games and hanging out with friends. He explained how he felt that the relationship was pretty balanced, he worked hard to achieve this stage and he shouldn't be burdened by more work now that he doesn't have to. At first I was a bit taken aback because I really thought they were endgame after staying together for almost 4 years. Mika and I had an excellent relationship. We got along really well and our parents also loved her. We talked more and below is how our conversation went. Me. I think it's stupid of you to let someone like her go because of damn chores. Ted. It's not just about chores, it's about equally contributing towards our home and relationship. Me. Sometimes you can't be equal, you have to compromise and contribute according to how much is needed and how much you can. Ted. I thought people want to be on an equal footing. This is what women fought for, right? To be equal to men in every way. At this point, I was very angry and just said, "You have a very bad attitude and if you don't change your views, you may die alone." He just laughed and kept eating. But my mom, who until this statement was on my side, suddenly started saying how I should apologize for saying such a thing. I asked her why I should apologize. I don't think I said anything wrong. Now I know my brother doesn't care what I, or for that matter, anyone else thinks about his decision. He will always do what he wants, and he doesn't expect me to apologize. But my mom insists that I apologize to him for my remark. Ted's an idiot. It's not about financial contributions, it's about effort, and he wasn't contributing effort. Mika was working a full-time job to contribute towards the common good of the household, so Ted owes the household a full-time job's worth of labor before Mika needs to do any chores. It would count if Ted spent 40 hours a week managing his investments, but from your description, his investments were largely passive and didn't require any effort from him. Ted could use his money to hire a cleaner, cook, whatever to help lighten the chores for him and Mika. Instead, he chose the selfish path of just the bare minimum effort. I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with someone treating it like a transaction. It sounds like he was using his income as leverage, and she's going to be treated better by someone else. You are the idiot. I actually disagree with you. Mika has 40 hours because she's supposed to. Your brother got to retire early because he worked hard to get where he was, and he was doing his 50%. Two healthy people with no children. How much housework is there really? Very little. All the people are acting like your brother is unemployed but does nothing, but he was providing his half and doing his chores. It's a bit outlandish to say he'll die alone. Update. I contacted Mika today just to check on her and she provided me with a few more details which I think could be helpful. Apparently they broke up about 2 months ago. He just didn't tell us until yesterday. Ted was the one who initiated the breakup because he didn't want to take on more chores permanently. He did help her out whenever she had a rough day but was against making it permanent. Her reasons for her request are that she would come home and have to do her part, and they weren't spending much time with each other because she was always busy and he had so much time. She thought we could solve this issue by changing the chores distribution, but he didn't even consider it. I also called him today to check if he really expected an apology from me. He said no and not to take Mom seriously. She would calm down eventually. Brother did work hard to be able to do what he was doing. He started working at 15 or 16, moved out at 17, and sacrificed everything to save and invest as much as possible, and now he can reap the benefits of that investment. I, 30 male, have a much younger half-sister, Lara, who's 18. Despite the age gap between us, we're decently close. We have the same mom but not dad. Her dad wasn't around for long and it's definitely shown in her relationships with men. She recently started dating a guy who goes to the same gym as me. We're not friends, but we know each other through mutual groups. Last night, I was at my mom's for dinner, and her boyfriend Brian was there. My mom disapproves, but she doesn't want to push her even closer to him, so she invited him over. It was definitely an awkward dinner, and I was pretty short with him for most of it. When I said goodbye and headed out, Brian came outside to ask me why things were so awkward, despite the fact that we'd had good conversations before. I told him I thought you were cool, but the fact that you're dating a teenager makes me think you're a creep now and I don't want to be friends with you. He didn't really have much to say and he just looked shocked and I left. Today, Lara texted me asking me why I was so rude, telling me how much she likes him and how good of a guy he is. Part of me feels bad because I know she does like him, but I just can't shake the feeling that this guy is a major creep for what he's doing, even if she is technically an adult. Am I the idiot? Was I out of line? Not the idiot, he's a creep. I'm an older fella. I could maybe see dating someone 10 or 12 years younger. Maybe. But I'm in my 50s and we're still talking about a grown damn adult long past their developmental years. 32 dating an 18-year-old? No. My daughters are both over 18. There will be some tough conversations if they bring a 32-year-old home for dinner. That's a grown damn man dating a girl still figuring out what it is to be a woman in my book. It ain't like you walked up to him unprovoked, poked your finger in his chest and said, "Screw you, I'll kick your butt." He cornered you, asked what the problem was, and you told him the truth. Unless he's a complete moron, he had to have known that any 18-year-old girl's 30-year-old brother would take issue with the relationship. You're right to keep an eye on him. Plus, for damn sake, you are her brother. Isn't this what brothers do? Look out for sister? Mine always did. When I was 32, I had no interest in 18-year-olds. They were still babies in my eyes. How intellectually stunted is he to think that his dating an 18-year-old is perfectly normal and then question why it was awkward? What do they even have in common? Women his age won't date him for some reason. Thanks for being a good big brother.